Didn't expect me back so soon, eh? Eh, eh, eh. Neither did I. Whew. I am a multi-shipper. Plain and simple. Don't know what that is? Urban Dictionary is free. I'm gluttonous and I live by the motto that I can have my cake and eat it too. Deku still haunts my very soul to this day. Hinata harem too. Whew. Ships. Aren't they wonderful? Whether canon or fanon, they are scrummy. Most of the time, at least. That's why we're here today, obviously. Of course, I can't include all the dynamics I worship and loathe, but I'll include my main ones in this video. The format will be I'll include one that I love first, then one that I hate, while you guys watch me drop propaganda of it in the background, because I'm much better at traditional art than digital art, unfortunately. And don't worry, these dynamics are going to be general. You guys aren't going to be learning any new vocab words or AO3 tags today. Mm-mm. And wheel. It's okay to love the dynamics I hate. It's okay to hate the dynamics I love. And of course, it's okay to agree with me too. I'm talking about relationship dynamics in fiction. It's not that deep, little bro. These are just my opinions that I'm blessing you all with by sharing them, and I take it back. My word is law, and my opinions are fact, and this is a monarchy, not a democracy. Dynamic 1 that I love. Apex Predator X Little Mouse. Okay, wait. Of course, I have a script next to me, but it's not my script, obviously. I did not realize how crazy that sounded. These characters are both around the same age. There's nothing creepy going on. I promise. I promise. That wouldn't be in my favorites. But anyways, I won't lie. I freestyled on some of these names, but that's okay. What I mean by Apex Predator X Little Mouse is not creepiness. It's basically the popular kid X the loner trope, both more customization room. Basically, jock X nerd, preppy X emo, bimbo slash himbo X geek, delinquent X dork. How many more synonyms can I find for loser? But that's basically the vibe of it. I especially love it when the apex predator is a complete and utter scumbag. I love that. Anywho, but the apex predator, for some reason, fancies a little mouse. I also love it when the little mouse is low-key scared of the apex predator at first, but quickly realizes they aren't a target and wears that status like a badge of honor. But they also know not to overstep with the apex predator, even though said apex predator sees them as an equal. That's the main thing that makes this relationship work so much for me, is the equality and the destruction of power imbalance. Since it makes the relationship feel genuine instead of a need for survival, the word I've tried like 5 retakes to say, or just plain abuse. Basically, I like it in a ship when they're both terrible people, but they're terrible together, have a soft spot for each other, and run that place like the Navy. I just like two dirtbags being a power couple together. Is that so bad? Dynamic 1 that I hate. Ugly X gorgeous. It seems obvious why I'd hate this trope or dynamic. I got 92 in Justice and Law. Okay, anywho. This seems obvious why I'd hate this trope, but I'm still gonna explain why I find this dynamic so icky. One, ugly is in quotes because in most of these stories, the ugly person isn't even actually ugly. They're either just an average looking person or they're quite the opposite. They're like the prettiest one there. But let's say that person actually isn't conventionally attractive, the dynamic is still gross because usually in the narrative, it's either a beauty's on the inside type of deal, because if society finds you ugly, you have to excel in one of the other categories to be deemed worthy. Well, that was deep. Anyways, and I swear the sorry, and I swear the gorgeous love interest is either their biggest op because not even they find the ugly one attractive. Like, relax, that's your soulmate you're talking about. Don't disrespect Dada. Or, or they're acting like they settled and that they're the good guy for going after the uggo instead of their pick of the infinitely more attractive litter. This is the scumbaggery I do not salivate at. This is hobnoggery that spikes my cholesterol even more. Dynamic 2 for love. Ethereal being X random mortal. This seems like an extension of the first one I love, but it's different, I swear. I usually prefer it if the ethereal being is like some kind of god or eldritch horror, but I also adore it when it's a species of angel, demon, or beast. Vampires, werewolves, orcs, anthropomorphic animals, fairies, and all that other good stuff isn't enough for me, really. Like, but he has to be sublime. If they're not majestic in an intimidating yet stunning way, then it's not my cup of tea. And for the random mortal, I want them to be just some random guy, just some rando with a 9 to 5, somehow comes face to face with this otherworldly being, and they just hit it off. It doesn't matter to me if Joe Schmo was petrified of them at first, or they always found them lovable. Either or works for me, and I love it almost every single time. Now, there's a good and bad way of doing this trope, and when it's good, it's really good. But when it's bad, oh my Lanta. Nothing's wrong with self-pandering content. Hell, there's nothing wrong with fan service content. Of course there can be, and we've seen historically, but I mainly mean the non-perverted self self-pandering content slash fan service decisions. Fantasy fulfillment isn't always bad. Hot take. Not hot take. Anywho, that stuff isn't always bad, but I don't have a lot of evidence to back up that statement. But anyways, most of the time it's horrible. Age play, power imbalance, abuse, fetishizing all the wrong things. But I know Dada, and Dada is a really good trope when done right. When both see each other as equals, you know, that's really the bottom line, equality in a relationship. Dynamic 2 for hate, the long game. To further explain this dynamic, basically, Party 1 really likes Party 2, but Party 2 doesn't like Party 1. Either they hate their guts, or they see them in a more platonic light, or they just don't know bro exists. Now, instead of making the correct decision by choosing the angst tag, they decided it was a bright idea to choose the slow burn tag. Lesson. I don't hate slow burn in general. If anything, I like it. One-sided slow burn can also work. But the slow burn I despise is when party one has to either lie, cheat, and deceive their way into party two. You heard that right. Reminder to put your phone on D&D. But anyways, the slow burn I despise is when party one has to either lie, cheat, and deceive their way into party two's heart, or party one has to damn near beg party two to accept their advances. I also hate when party one ends up moving on, but as soon as that happens, party two finally falls in love with party one, but one step at a time. Anywho, if you have to deceive your crush in order to score them, neither of you deserve each other. Your crush doesn't love you as you, which is okay, don't worry. And you're not going to be happy in the long run because you'll either have to come clean, ruining the relationship, or you have to live a lie the rest of your life. And if you have to beg your crush to get with them, you're a creep who can't accept no, and your crush only said yes because you wore them down enough. Sorry that I say you. I mean party one. I don't think you're a creep. I hope you're not. But yeah, of course, this can be done right, like party one earning party two's affection through development and kind gestures. That's cute. But when it's the former rather than the latter, it's a big no for me. Dynamic 3 for love. Academic rivals. Okay, so enemies to lovers is usually oversaturated, therefore a bit overrated. It's my opinion. But my golly gee willikers, man. Some of the subgenres are absolutely fire. Academic rivals is just one of those examples. One of my biggest complaints about enemies to lovers is that they were never really enemies in the first place, or that they just hate each other for no reason. You do not have camaraderie and playful banter with your enemy on the regular, so when I'm starting the story and they're already playing pranks on each other and helping each other out, you're skipping ahead. That wasn't earned yet. Be patient. It's different if the pranks were like an act of sabotage, but if they're not, then boo! I'm fine if they're just enemies for like 3 chapters, and then it's the yearning arc. I'm fine with that. But they better be hating each other's guts those first three chapters. Make it count. Now, onto my love. Academic rivals. I love petty, stubborn enemies, man. I love seeing two people who think they're the best try to one up each other, which turns into trying to impress each other. And now they're yearning for each other and too prideful to admit it. I don't know, something about petty banter and jerks falling for each other fills my soul with love. I told you guys this already. I like when bad people get together. I especially like this dynamic when the aforementioned happens, one upping each other turns into trying to impress. I also like it when they're from two different worlds and the main thing that brings them together is their academics. Yeah, man. And enemies to lovers isn't that bad.